Hey, Texas Values supporters, Jonathan Covey here. I'm Policy Director for Texas Values. I have with me Mary Elizabeth Castle, our Director of Government Relations, and Megan Benton, Strategic Policy Associate. And we are here today on a Sunday. We don't usually do these reports on Sunday, but the legislature is working through the weekend. It's the last 10 days of the legislative session. And so we're working through the weekend. And we worked Saturday, and we're here on Sunday afternoon to see another calendar come from the Texas legislature. And we had some very important things happen over the weekend and Friday, Thursday, and throughout this week that we want to update you on. But just to let you know that we are at the very end. We're here very close to the end of the legislative session, and things really are happening. We have some great news to share with you, also some things to explain how some of the bills are progressing. And to start us off with, I'll come in next, but I want to go to Mary Elizabeth and let her first of all start off with some really great news that we heard that's going to happen on Monday.
Absolutely. So, if you've been receiving some of our emails and you've seen us on social media, there's been a really large push for SB 13 to get on the calendar and not just get on any calendar, but to get on the major state calendar. And as you've heard us explain, the major state calendar is usually the part of the House calendar where the bills go first and they're a priority. And so we really needed SB 13 because it had been in committee for quite some time, was making its way slowly to the calendars committee. So thank you for your emails. Thank you for all of your calls to get it to the calendars committee. And thankfully, I believe that was either Friday or Saturday, but I can't remember, Covey. The days are running together, that it finally not just got voted on the calendar, but on the major state calendar. So that's a sure way that it's not going to just get placed on the calendar and then die, as we call it, but it's going to actually be voted and hopefully become law. And just a reminder, SB 13, we speak in bill terms here, but that's the bill that makes sure we have a clean, clear process to keep pornographic books out of school libraries. And so this is a huge, major victory, and it will be once it passes the Texas House. We believe we have the votes, but it's not over. So you'll be hearing from us too about how you can contact your member to make sure that they vote for the bill. Remember HB 900 from two sessions ago? That was actually a bipartisan vote. So it doesn't matter where you live or who represents you, they should be able to vote for SB 13. So we'll give you the tools in order to email them, call them, tell them to vote for this bill. But that's some great news. But some other news, just to give you a realistic update. Unfortunately, the Texas Women's Privacy Act does not have a chance of becoming law this session, but we'll come back next session. Just so you know, SB 240 still is sitting currently in the Texas House State Affairs Committee. The deadline to have that voted out has already passed. And even to have it voted out, it needed to have a hearing. So unfortunately, it will not be making it this session. But at the same time, we're going to give you the tools, probably right after session, in order to communicate some of that, because some of you have been sending us emails about your responses when you've called the offices. So we're going to help you make that louder, make that more clear to the committee about kind of your disappointment of how that didn't move through, because we had a lot of support for that bill. But some good news is that we do have HB 229, which is the Women's Bill of Rights, the bill that defines male and female. That is moving fast ahead. That one was sitting in Senate State Affairs for about a week, but thankfully they did vote that out of committee. So we should see a vote on that bill next week. So we're very excited about that bill. That'll at least give us a foundation, a groundwork in order to pass these privacy bills in the future. So we are thankful for that victory. But at the same time, we're going to help you prepare for next session and prepare how to navigate this privacy issue in the meantime as well, while we don't have a law that as addresses that. But we'll help you to navigate how HB 229 will help you as well. Some other unfortunate news, just again to be realistic. So you probably heard a lot from not just us, but if you follow a lot of pro-life groups, a lot of pro-life leaders, some national people have been talking about this as well. SB 2880 That was the bill to stop the dangerous chemical abortion pills that are coming across our state lines, most likely illegally, and a lot of times laced with other drugs and leaving women and children in danger. There was a bill, SB 2880, and a House companion as well. They both made it the part of the process to where all it needed was a vote out of the House State Affairs Committee. As it was voted out of, yes, so out of kind of a Hail Mary move, it was voted out of the House State Affairs Committee Thursday or Friday. I need help with the day.
Thursday.
Thursday. And, that was close to enough time to get it voted out and on the House calendar, even though it was really tight. But unfortunately, it did not, because of some technicalities. And we'll explain this if you sign up for Texas Values University. There are some things, some paperwork that didn't make it in time in order to get sent to the calendars committee for it to be voted on calendars. So unfortunately, that bill will not make it this session because, as Megan will explain later, we're meeting some very critical deadlines in the Texas House. So that's very unfortunate, but Covey is going to talk about some good pro-life victories that we did have for this session that you can look forward to being signed into law.
Yeah, thanks, Mary Elizabeth. I like how you did the plug for Texas Values University. Absolutely, we have a really exciting pro-life bill that passed, and I'll try to go in chronological order on some of these. But Senate Bill 33 was a legislation that was passed earlier this week and is going to the governor's office and to the governor's desk. And this is a great bill that says no taxpayer funds going to abortion service provider, logistic providers. These are organizations that they don't directly provide abortions, but that what they do is they provide all kinds of logistical services for women who are seeking to have abortions, seeking to go out of state. They'll provide transportation, they'll provide childcare, they'll provide hotels. And if you remember, Texas Values fought against the city of Austin trying to do this. So the city of Austin has a fund that they put $400,000 in, and they've been using to help fund these logistical issues for women seeking abortion. City of San Antonio also tried this. This was a loophole in the law, and this Senate Bill 33 finally, by Senator Campbell, finally closes that loophole and says that there will not be any kind of public dollars going towards these logistical services for abortions. This is a fantastic pro-life law, and we're very excited that it's going to become law here in the state of Texas, and it's really going to help save a lot of lives. Another thing that I was going to mention was the Coach Kennedy bill. This is Senate Bill 11. This is not a pro-life bill. This is a religious freedom bill, but it's a fantastic bill, and what it says is that it allows for a time of voluntary religious observance or prayer for students in public schools. This says that, they can voluntarily go and they can take some time and they can pray and they can have a religious observance. And this is upheld by the Supreme Court in the Kennedy v. Bremerton case in 2022, where the Supreme Court said, look, we're overturning the Lemon test. We're overturning this test that we used to use for many years, and we're saying that we're relying on a new test, which is called the history and traditions of our country, and that's what they're relying on. And the U.S. Supreme Court said this is constitutional, and that religion and prayer has a place in public schools. The other thing that we wanted to mention was Senate Bill 10 just recently, just day before yesterday, passed on third reading, and today passed to final passage here in the Texas House. And this is the Texas 10 Commandments bill. This is the thing you've heard so much about. This is the putting the plaque of the 10 Commandments in public school classrooms. And we've heard so much about how students are crying out for moral clarity. And there is no more historically significant document in our country that has played such an important role in the foundation of our laws as the Ten Commandments. So putting those Ten Commandments as a plaque, as a reminder, a historical reminder in public school classrooms is crucial, and Texas is leading the way on this. And then let me check and make sure there wasn't one more. Oh yeah, and then Senate Bill 12, which was just also passed today to final passage. This is a parental rights bill by Representative Chairman Leach, and it does a number of things, but one of the things that it does very well and that we're very excited about is that it bans the teaching of sexual orientation and gender identity in public school classrooms, in classroom instruction. And this is very important because, as you know, Texas Values has fought for many years trying to make sure that public schools do not indoctrinate kids with these radical and sexual ideologies. And so this helps take a giant leap forward in that fight and in making sure that kids are protected from indoctrination. And so these are some very exciting bills that have passed this week. There's just really so much to talk about, which is why we decided to wait a little bit longer to be able to give you an update. But I want to go to Megan now and let her talk a little bit about some of the other things that we've been working on.
Yeah, well, there's so much exciting things going on right now. We are nearing the end of session, which is actually June 2nd. That's Sine Die, which is the last day of session. And so as we're getting closer, there are a lot of deadlines coming up, which means that we're working overtime to make sure that our priorities get passed so that we can stand for faith, family, and freedom in Texas. So a quick overview on a few of those things. Tuesday is the last day for Senate bills to be heard in the House. So we're gearing up towards that. We're obviously here on a Sunday. We were here yesterday on Saturday as well, making sure that our priorities get through before that deadline. And then the Senate actually has a deadline as well. They have a little bit more time strategically than the House does. But we need to get House bills through the Senate by Friday. So those are two deadlines that we're working hard to get towards and make sure that a few things of ours get through get through that finish line before those dates. So that's what's going on over here. But we are at the Capitol every single day during session, working to make sure that faith, family, and freedom is protected in Texas. And so what that looks like is our whole team, our policy team, is here every single day, making sure that you are updated, making sure that you know what's going on, making sure that we let everybody know when it's time to make a call, to contact your representative, or even sometimes show up and testify. And so we try to do that throughout all of session, but especially as we're gearing up towards the last few days of session, it becomes even more important. The second of that, we are on the floor monitoring and making sure that all the good bills get passed, but that nothing bad gets passed as well. So that's what our team has been up to lately, talking to legislators and making sure that they have the information they need on these bills and really just making those connections on the ground. So that's a little bit about what we've been up to. Obviously, keep us in your prayers. This is a difficult season with a lot of hard work ahead of us, but we are prepared and we are thankful for the ability to stand for faith, family, and freedom in Texas. And with that, I'll pass it back to you, Cubby.
Thanks, Megan. Yeah, this is the last little bit. This is just about crossing the finish line. So keep our team in your prayers. Remember that we continue to always be your boots on the ground, no matter what. We're here 140 days out of the session. That's every day out of the session. And if something happens, you will know about it because we're representing you. Also, to Mary Elizabeth's point, check out Texas Values University because you'll learn a lot about the in-depth knowledge of the legislature through that, and we've officially launched that course. So we're very excited about that as well. But that is how together we will make a difference for faith, family, and freedom in the state of Texas. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.